Cole Bassett. Preseason's for experimentation, but Portland is putting their stamp on the 4-2-3-1. And this lineup that fans are seeing right now is pretty similar to what they should see against Columbus in the season opener. Bonateg, a nice line-breaking pass to Ari Lassiter, sending Brandon Bye in his way. There's going to be advantage played for just a moment. Once there was a realization that the pass was not going to Bye, the official draws it back for a Portland Timbers ball. 7th minute of action. Let's take a look at the new names Portland brought in ahead of their season opener a week from now. In the summer, in came Christopher Velda and 2 others who are no longer with the team. Those were just short-term deals for Felipe Carbajo and Mati Rojas. But the permanents are nice. Cole Bassett, Brandon Bye, Alex Bonateg, all 3 of those in the starting lineup. And also Hunter Soltz, who had the start last game and played the full 90, is back from a 2-year loan with Indy 11. A nice header backwards by Marin Haile Salese. A very versatile player for this team. He can play wingback, can play across the front line. Looks to be playing a more defensive role against Ari Lassiter, a former Chicago Fire player in his own right. Brady. Off to Elliott. Davia. Simple yet productive shape Chicago's lining in within possession. Haven't seen much of him on the ball yet, and has only gotten about 20 minutes in each game. But Vitaly Halyut, the 17-year-old Ukrainian-American left winger for Chicago, still looking for his first-team debut. Ended up on the bench a few times in 2025. But trying to impress Gerd Berhalter in a pretty big stage here in preseason. Haile Selassie. There's Halyut on the ball, intercepted by Chara. Kelsey finds himself on the edge of his own 18, the striker coming way back to help build up. He's known for his hold-up play and aerial ability. One thing that rang true last year that Phil Neville constantly beat the drum on was the service wasn't good enough to Kevin Kelsey. When you're playing with just one striker, you rely so heavily on service from out wide. Lassiter on the turn, opens up the boot to Bye. He's got to slow down his run and peers his head up. Sermon, one of the best young center backs in MLS. Chicago's hoping they have the same with a new signing of theirs, Mbokazi. South African who's already got 5 caps at just 20 years old. Only stands 5'10". Their fee roughly reported around $3 million for the Chicago Fire. He's lining up that left center back slot.
2, 3.
Emphasis on center back in the last couple of months. In season with just about 6 games to go, came Joel Waterman, one of the best, probably 3rd string center backs in MLS. And the youngster, Christopher Cups, at 17 years old, is capable as well. Mueller breaks the line, tries to edge himself past Forey. Lude was by the PK spot, but the former Minnesota United man and Finnish international doesn't get a touch to the sphere. Off the bottom of the studs of another new signing in Anton Saletros. 19 caps for Sweden. In his career, 271 games played, 22 goals and 33 assists. Not even 30 yet. Signed from AIK in Sweden. The Chicago Stars, Zinkernagel. Other DP, Jonathan Bamba, who, in terms of name recognition, is certainly recognized across Europe in Major League Soccer. He's dealing with a bit of a leg injury, which he suffered in preseason. He should be good to go in the opener. And Chicago's leading goal scorer from last year, Hugo Kuipers, who was 7th in MLS with 17 goals. He's dealing with a minor concussion. He's getting better day by day and should hopefully be available in a week from now. 27 goals for Kuipers over the last 2 years. And look at the Chicago depth chart. One position of question, maybe backup striker. We have Kuipers, who's been so durable and so successful. You don't really need a backup striker unless injury, of course. Lud trying to play it towards the end line. Mueller not going to get there in time. Well, Chicago gave up 60 goals last year. Portland much better defensively, just 48 goals against, which was 6th in the Western Conference. Both these teams have clear points of improvement going into 2026. First and foremost, getting better at home. Portland consistently wins double-digit games at home through their history. Here's Mueller and another nice save by Pantemis. Last year, Portland had 7 wins, 4 losses, and 6 draws at Providence Park. Not half bad, but the Chicago Fire, for being a playoff team, only had 6 wins at home. 6, 5, and 6. They had 55% of their points on the road a season ago. 12 minutes in the affair has been mostly Chicago so far. Portland still looking for their first shot on goal. Zinkernagel's going to wind up an attempt and right into the back of Anthony. Barroso, highly regarded Portuguese youth international, signed from Sporting Lisbon B last summer. He is undersized, but he does things on the ball that we really haven't seen a Chicago fullback do before through their history. Won MLS Cup in their first ever season in 1998. Looking to hoist that piece of illustrious silverware yet again. Elliott, Chicago's Defensive Player of the Year last year. Zinkernagel. When he joined from Club Brugge, he signed a 4-year deal. You look at some of the numbers behind that, considering he had 30 goal contributions last year. Looks like a steal for the Chicago Fire now. Mueller has got a goal and assist in this preseason. Goes down there in a enticing free kick opportunity for Chicago. Chicago team that has some of the best homegrowns in Major League Soccer. We'll see some on the pitch today. We already got one in Vitaly Hilyut, Sergio Orhel Jr. Somebody else that was actually a little bit surprising that he wasn't on the 22 under 22 list in MLS, playing 28 games last year. One of the most satisfying players to watch in midfield. Wall of 4 for the Timbers. They're 4 tallest, and it hits off the face of one. It's a scramble drill within the 18 and finally out. Mbokazi. Elliott, 3 goals and 3 assists from the center back last time. Pantemis tosses it out after an offside. Bassett. Montague in an awkward situation. Kelsey trying to reach Velda on the overlap, does the hard yards himself. Lassiter's got by to his right shoulder. By with the first time cross down in front, and good option by Kevin Kelsey, but it just whiskers wide of the far post. Last season, all competitions, Kevin Kelsey had 9 goals, 7 in MLS. Last goal of the season came August 16th, a brace against his former side in FC Cincinnati. He's probably in line to start the opener against Columbus, so wants to get off on the right foot. Portland did play 3 preseason games behind closed doors. Kevin Kelsey's yet to score for Portland Timber fans' public eyes in this brief preseason campaign. Lod. Anthony back to help defend. Off the shin pad of Jimmer Forey, the Colombian fullback, and a corner kick coming. The start of the broadcast, we mentioned how this is really the strongest choice 11 Portland has right now. Excluded from that is a few players, though. The number 10, David Acosta, a DP for this team. Mighty impressive on the ball, a really good dribbler, and a good progressive passer. At right back, Juan Mascara, who's going to be suspended for the opening game of the season regardless because of a red card, is also missing. Phil Neville shared he has a knock in which will be out 2 to 3 weeks from a few days ago. Good delivery off the corner kick. Finn Sermon stays planted to the spot but still wins the header. Velde getting past his marker, a very heavy touch up the chalk, and he's going to pull him down, and it's going to be a foul going the other way. Whether it's preseason, the regular season, or the playoffs against San Diego, Velde is always at 100%. Other teams will try to take advantage of that this year, getting under his skin. I think that sort of attitude and spiciness is welcomed by Portland. Jay Davila, number 42, not the most traditional number for an established first-team member. He wears that because of his countryman Yaya Toure. Regular shot. Pantemis thinks about getting a glove to it, but realizes it will prefer a goal kick. Jay Davila, just 22 years old. He's played in Portugal, the UAE, and Ivory Coast before a 4-year deal with Chicago. Certainly projected to be a starter with this team in a new look midfield. Kelsey to Lassiter. Ping pongs off a boot and a shin pad and a throw in going the direction of Chicago. Haile Selassie. Zinkernagel putting his young center back in a tough situation, and the result follows. Kelsey trying to dummy the throw and let it run over to Velde. Zinkernagel looking for runners. Lod to Hilyut, the 17-year-olds. Will work on Finn Sermon. Favors the end line, and Sermon's going to bump him off with ease and then shoulder it out of play. Not often do you see the combination that Finn Sermon possesses of his physicality, speed, and being 6'3". Last year was only his first in MLS, but you can already see the promise and realization of it. Chara to Lassiter. Beyond preseason, where of course you're focusing on yourself, for the Western Conference teams, you can do a lot of scouting here. As for Chicago, they will play against the Portland Timbers this season in Chicago on August 16th, soon after the World Cup hiatus. Brady, one of the best young shot stoppers in MLS. Chicago does have a bit of a competition for their backup goalie this season, though. See if we see Jeff Gall in, who had to play a playoff game, or Josh Cohen, who recently signed from Atlanta United. Anthony, who had a nice assist last game and 2 in the playoffs. Bassett, first time look to buy is a smart one. Kelsey was clamoring for it through the middle. Instead it'll be a simple pass to Lassiter. Timbers in Phil Neville's first season in 2024 had their best attack in club history. And last year they took a significant dip down, but the back line was much improved, hoping to marry the middle of each of that now. By's cross is open for Anthony, but right into the grill of Brady. And after being on the back foot for the opening 10 minutes, Portland has certainly felt their way into this game. Anthony didn't even have to jump for that one. Technically, that's Jack Elliott's side, the veteran center back. Zinkernagel, shoulders off Lassiter, able to get Chara flat-footed. Lud opens up the left. And a good effort, but not too much velocity behind the ball. Greg Berhalter entering his second season in charge of the Chicago Fire, but obviously used to being in MLS. The furthest he got in his long tenure with the Columbus Crew from 2013 to 2018. Just fell short of MLS Cup in 2015 to the hands of the Portland Timbers. As a player, Berhalter, though, two-time MLS Cup winner, two-time Supporters Shield winner with the LA Galaxy, and obviously known best for being the U.S. men's national team coach for nearly 6 years. First American ever to play at a World Cup and then coach that same nation. Through ball for Anthony. Look at the foot race with Barroso on the two. That each developed their craft in Portugal over the last couple of years and come into MLS, collide, and Barroso gets the best of it. Beyond obviously Berhalter as a coach, he offers headaches to the Portland Timbers as a dad. Sebastian Berhalter, his son, one of the best in MLS, playing with Vancouver, who reached MLS Cup a season ago. Up the line is Zinkernagel. He's been the most active attacker for Chicago. A decent-looking ball. Marin Salese getting there at the back post just in time. And a curled effort kisses off the post and wide. Davila. Chicago doing well in tight spaces this game. Portland's had more of their chances when they get out and run, and also a few nice crosses. As for Chicago, able to break down this low Timbers block. They had a free kick once from this area, head off the face of a player in the wall, and this time they'll get a second look at it. Chicago's home stadium, the same as the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field, right on the lakefront in downtown. They're opening up a new stadium slated for spring of 2028, right on the Chicago River. Privately funded stadium by their owner, Mansueto. Chicago at this tournament so far unbeaten. A win against the Galaxy and a draw against Austin. As for Portland, they're looking for their first win after scoreless against DC United. That's a great effort and just high of Pantemis' net. 0-0 with DC United a week ago, and then midweek on Wednesday. They were up 2-1 against San Jose, but two late goals as the depth of both teams were questioned. And San Jose scored 2 goals in about 6 minutes in the dying moments of the affair. Mbokazi shouldered off the ball before it even comes in his vicinity. And that's going to be a foul against Kelsey. Mbokazi started as a teenager the last 2 years with the Orlando Pirates in South Africa. It's an untapped market in terms of, I guess, talent in Major League Soccer, but certainly not one that is lacking any fans. Bonatek, Forey. Takes Lud for a dance. And Davila is beaten by Velde. His first touch too heavy, and Elliott will come across. Mbokazi. Chicago, a top 6 attack and a bottom 6 defense last year. Playing a scoreless game through 26. Pantemis just plays in a real estate only occupied by those in red. Mbokazi TLB. Davila. He's got 2 midfielders alongside him in this game that are certainly more of the audacious and creative passers. But you still need that sort of driving yards through midfields and the tackling ability he possesses. Iliut. Iliut has American and Ukrainian citizenship. He's got 35 games played at the pro level in MLS Next Pro. Pretty impressive considering he's only 17 years old. In 2024, he saw his first of a few call-ups to the U.S. youth national team. Portland's got a pretty similar story on their bench right now in Eric Zoita, who is 18 years old, has Ukrainian and American citizenship. Portland fans hoping he gets a chance with the first team. Anthony will shepherd the ball through to James Pantemis, and rightfully so, because he sort of did his backline a disservice there, being so far back to disallow the offside. He wins the physical duel and lets the ball run through. Sermon up over the top to Lassiter. Pumping his arms. Mbokazi's going to get there first, but the second rollout was to Lassiter. And the ball kisses off the green and then touches his arm for a hand. Chicago found a lot of success last season playing in the 3-4-3 in the final third of the season. Greg Berhalter's known for his 4-3-3 formation, which makes some of the rumors and links to Robert Lewandowski in the summer after the World Cup break a little perplexing, considering that Hugo Kuiper's one of the best strikers in MLS.
Next one, second.
Davila. Kelsey to help him there defend. Zinkernagle given room to operate. A few nice ball rolls getting past Jimmer Forey and a shot on target, but just that. Portland and Chicago got there in different ways. Paused that thought as Cole Bassett has a turnover from the back. Iliut being closed down by Chara. These two are separated in age by 22 years. Barroso. Valdez seen enough of that. He's going to take it right off of him. Kelsey on the left flank, 4 red jerseys, and Barroso perhaps does Velda a favor to win position for Portland. Bassett wanted to go quick. Lassiter not on the same wavelength, and I don't think the official was having it one way or another. First yellow card of the game goes to the young fullback, Barroso. Velda and Bassett. Lassiter will make it a party of 3. Bassett joined about a month ago from the Colorado Rapids, in which the Timbers will play their first game on the road against the best homegrown in Rapids history with 31 goals and 22 assists over 150 games. And a brief stint to the Netherlands as well. He's going to remain one of the best in MLS now in the Pacific Northwest. High line by Chicago, and Velda's going to try to put it on frame. And Brady gets across his 8x24. The Timbers backing off Davila. Lud. Zinkernagle. Mueller. Zinkernagle took a hit there. Advantage was played. Soletros at the top of the box, winding up Zinkernagle. That one not quite on the plates, but still a chance for Chicago. Hilliut's going to play it in front, and trying to creep it in the near post is Chicago. An effort by the center forward. Excuse me, that was actually Robin Lod who came over. Robin Lod, 7 years with Minnesota. He had 41 goals, which is their most in Minnesota history, and 33 assists. He's got a lot of experience in the postseason, also over 1,000 minutes in the playoffs across 12 games. And despite being 32, he played his career high in games last year with 33. He has 12 goals and 21 assists just in the last 2 years with Minnesota. Shakes things up, and obviously not a like-for-like replacement for Gutierrez, who joins Liga MX this offseason, was one of Chicago's best young playmakers. Lod not the runner that Gutierrez is, and maybe not even the dribbler. He certainly brings a lot of IQ and passing expertise to this new Chicago midfield. Filitros. Mueller. Long-time Orlando forward. Mueller did not play a second in MLS last year through injury and suffered a tough hip injury in the summer of 2023, looking to get back to his form for nearly 2.5 seasons ago. Velda out to Bai. It's been impressive in this game so far. Brandon Bai keeps it in play, a little bit over. Brandon Bai on the cross, one of the best college players of all time over the last couple of decades, was named on the all-decade college team out of Western Michigan. It's fun to look back at the Supporter Shield winning sides and how those players have filtered out across MLS the last couple of years. Brandon Bai, a starter on the 2021 New England team, led by Bruce Arena, and his current head coach, Dave Vandenberg, who's now Phil Neville's top assistant. Portland did announce 2 new head coaches a few days ago. One, another assistant for Phil Neville, and elsewhere in the backroom staff, a data analyst. Diagonal ball is a smart one. Velda and Chara. Kelsey using his 6'4" frame to tease Elliott, and then the 30-year-old center back gets frustrated and will allow Portland a pretty good look at net here, courtesy of a set piece. Velda was permitted to take it last time. That wall certainly within 10 yards. The official will correct that. All things considered of how close it is to Chris Brady's net, a pretty high line by those in red of Chicago. It's a newly released kit, the Fire are dawning. As for Portland, they just released a new away kit honoring the 100th anniversary of Providence Park. That kit should be on display in the first couple of games of the season. Lassiter aiming for Bonateg. Haile Selassie. And Portland will reset their lines defensively. At this point last game for the Portland Timbers against San Jose, they were up 2-1. There was one improbable goal by Christopher Velda, and then The second also from Velde, but on a nice header, assisted by Anthony. Barroso. Another nice save by Pantemis, and they're peppering his net. The Canadian shot stopper already up to 4 saves in the game. Haile Selassie on the shot and the layoff by Zinkernagel. Chicago have been impressive this entire tournament in the attacking third. There's set pieces against Austin in which they found success. 2 goals in that game from dead ball situations. Chicago's last piece of silverware came in 2006. It was their 4th Open Cup. Mbokazi gets there before Lassiter. South African for a center back has ags of speed. Sermon will look back in Bonateg's direction. 2 A-League imports separated by a year and a half in age and the date they joined the club. Might set some slightly unrealistic expectations on Alex Bonateg, considering how strong Finn Sermon has been from the A-League. And if he can replicate what Sermon has done over the last year and a half, the Timbers have one of the best back lines in the Western Conference. It'll be interesting to see the dynamic of how attacking the fullbacks are. Portland often shifted between a 4 and a 3 at the back last year, and about just under half of their games they played a 3 at the back, allowing for Juan Mascara, the right wing back, and Jimmer Forey, who's typically the left back, would play left center back, and then Ian Smith, the draft pick out of Denver, would come in and play left wing back. This season, we've heard in press conferences, GM Ned Grabavoy and Phil Neville say this team is built for the 4-2-3-1, and they're going to stick to that even though they are liked in the number 10 position right now, which is one of the most important in this formation and in Phil Neville's style. Lassiter. Davila, the first to it, and a nice touchdown. The young winger Hilliutz getting the best of Brandon By. Zinkernagel working in between the defenders. Zinkernagel, Finn Sermon's got it covered for the moment. Here comes Zinkernagel cutting inside. Still within the box, and a deflection doesn't even go on Pantemis' net. Shot from distance, blocks by Bonateg. You could hear it through the headphones. Velde pleading his case as Saletros, it looked like voluntarily goes to ground, but may have gotten a touch. The 2 Scandinavians go into battle. Six minutes to play in the opening half. A week ago, in both of these teams' first preseason games, there was no semblance of stoppage time. Last contest against Austin for Chicago and San Jose for Portland, they did play about 2-3 minutes tacked on to each half. One thing that certainly gets better with time across the season is set-piece defense. Portland was pretty poor off defending set pieces in 2023 and 2024, but in Phil Neville's 3rd season, they were much, much better. They're getting a lot of practice of it here against Chicago. It'll be Zinkernagel's turn, and low and hits Velde, the man that committed the foul. And instead, Chicago get a different angle of this one from a corner. Coming into last season, all eyes were on Jonathan Bamba, who's not playing in this one because of a minor leg injury. But despite not having the numbers that his counterpart Zinkernagel did, 5 goals and 10 assists isn't bad for Joe Bamba, who's number 2 in MLS for passes to the assist, or a hockey assist, as you will. The second consecutive dead ball situation, Velde gets his body in the way. Hilliutz will go back to Brady. 2 young Chicagoans linking up for their hometown team.
Brady, through his MLS career, 29 wins, 37 losses, and 26 draws. Chicago, despite only making the playoffs for the first time since 2017 last year, do have a strong tradition of great young goalkeepers. Here's Mueller in the box, gets past one, low shot coming, and Chicago get the opener. The former Minnesota United man, Robin Lod, scored against the Timbers before, and now he does it in preseason. Lod, 41 goals through his 7 years with Minnesota. The midfielder playing in a more advanced and attractive attacking system under Greg Berhalter than what he got with Eric Ramsey last year, and should be a big beneficiary for that. Let's take a look at that goal. Chicago's been so great at these neat little layoff balls, which gets the center backs and defenders to bite. And Pantemis has been seeing them well, but even a shot that good, he's going to have a lot of trouble with. Goes against the momentum of the experienced keeper, and Chicago up 1-0 just before half. Portland find themselves behind. Chicago averaged 2 goals per game last year, not 4 in that they score in the first. As Portland wanted to dart the other way, they had a 4-on-4 break doing so. The action is called back as Anton Saletros was brought down. Saletros, one of those new signings that's going to make it harder for everybody else to earn midfielder minutes. It's his first time in MLS after playing over 300 games across Scandinavia, France, Russia, Hungary, and most recently has been used in World Cup qualifiers. Two minutes left in the half between Portland and Chicago. Got intel from high-ranking official at the Portland Timbers that they are on the verge of bringing in a new player. So keep an eye out for that over the next 24 hours. Chicago has the lead right now, but Portland's on the negotiation table. Could be adding at least one more. Portland had a good stretch from the 10th to the 20th minute, but it's been primarily Chicago since. Lassiter puts his hands on Mueller. Chicago wins. Overlap out left. Hilliard's going to be a solo effort to Zinkernagle, trying to get back to the 17-year-old. And by. Shades the ball going away. Bassett takes a beating. Lod helps him back up. Lod's goal in the 42nd, the difference in this game so far. After the opening match here at Coachella for Portland's scoreless draw with DC United, Phil Neville labeled this as competition week. Well, everybody will be getting some sort of minutes with the Timbers this year. You plead your case in preseason competition. Anthony, comfortable on each wings, has it on his favored left, trying to get over to Kevin Kelsey, hits off the collarbone of Mbokazi, and then out. What's the call?